Ace, welcome to this episode of Style Sessions.
Good to be back, Matt.
Hey, quick question for you.
Uh-huh.
What is your favorite Thanksgiving side dish?
Matt, it's like March. It's way too early for that question.
Brandon and Ancarrow would disagree.
Fair enough. What makes a company great? What makes a company tick? You know, the companies that have lasted for years and will be around for years to come. At Markel Group, what we found is that it's beyond great product or service. Those are important, sure, but it's really about the people who drive culture, who embody the spirit of the work, and who build lasting relationships across organizations. We're on a journey to tell the stories of those people, the ones who make Markel Group successful. Welcome to Markel Style. So we're here to talk about Brandon Ancarrow.
The man, the myth, the legend.
There we go. So senior comm specialist at Markel, which I think is an appropriately fancy way to say Brandon makes everybody look great on camera, rolling out video campaigns. Like, he's the guy putting together some of, like, you've done quite a bit of work with Brandon. You know him pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. We used to call him the Steven Spielberg of Markel because he truly made the pictures move at Markel, our insurance business.
Brandon really came into our team during COVID, during a really tough time for the world, Markel, all of us as individuals. And we needed to find ways to better communicate with employees because we weren't going to be there in person. And we stumbled upon Brandon and some of the work he had done to date. And really, you know, that started back in 2020. And over the past 3 years, I mean, he really has developed the video program that we have at Markel, whether it's a serious CEO update, a recruitment campaign, something for social media, product features. He really has been able to create a wide array of videos for all of our different audiences at Markel.
So, Ace, again, there might be people who are skeptical about the power of positivity. I know that even sounds like a self-help thing when I say it, but you know, it's inevitable that life is going to throw you curveballs, whether it's at work or in your personal life, and how you react to that is everything. And I think we got a couple of clips to show what happens when things go wrong, and how Brandon really shows up for the team.
One story that comes to mind is when we had a delayed flight that was jeopardizing our next flight, and he just took it upon himself to say, if we miss this flight, then we're going to rent a car and we'll sing songs all the way back home. And, you know, I'm not in that frame of mind, but he really can just take any moment and make you laugh.
Brandon always looks at the glass half full and he's like, okay, well, we have this or we have this person. I think we can make this work, or I think we can put together this story. So that has been so important for me as we worked on so many social media campaigns and videos and brainstorming with ideas, sometimes with not as much time as we would think. And he always is like, no, we can make this happen and we can make this work. So that's really helped me and my work.
I dig again what I keep hearing about Brandon, and you know, we heard about some of the team dynamics. Like, just there's the moving work forward, and that's really important, and then there's getting really good people to just gel as a team. And I think some of the energy is quite literally infectious. He gasses people up, he makes them laugh, and folks feel great about themselves as a result.
Yeah.
And Matt, I wasn't going to include this, but you and Brandon had a moment when you were having your interview for the style session.
A moment I'll never forget, Ace.
Let's go to that.
I mean, when you walk into Markel, everybody's welcoming. Everybody, you know, has a sense of humor. You are very funny. And
he called me funny. We're done here. We can cut him. All right, good. Cut.
Matt, it's my favorite part of the episode where not only do I get to use my favorite word, but
we all know what it is, Ace, at this point.
But
Provenance.
Importantly, Matt, stop it. Importantly, we get to find out where Brandon started and why he is who he is. So my singular question is, what is the provenance of Brandon's energy?
You know, definitely, this is cool, but my father and my two uncles, you know, his brothers, are just the most amazing people. And they, like, when I grew up, I was watching them, like, my uncle's very frugal, but they are just so, we can get it done. Like it's like when I've seen my uncles and my dad build sheds together, do like the plumbing in my grandpa's house, and I've just watched them be very hands-on their entire life, and they've always been like, we can get this done, no problem, and they get it done, and it's like always really good products. So that was just really kind of cool to watch growing up.
Man, when you watch that man talk, it's real.
It's legit.
It's absolutely legit. And when I see that, it's just like, it's actually inspiring because when anything happens to us, this sounds like it's just about positivity and energy and all that stuff. This is a philosophy.
Yeah.
This is a way to conduct your life.
Yeah.
And Brandon gave us a little bit more information on that.
If you're always focusing on the negative, that can become, quite a downward spiral for you. But when you focus on the positive, more opportunities come, and you kind of find your way that way.
All right, so I have been trying to put a finger on this for the entirety of this episode, and hearing about him and then watching him, he reminds me of someone, and I think I've got it. It's a character quite a number of us have come to know and love, as immortalized by Jason Sudeikis, the legendary coach, Ted Lasso.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you brought it up because you got to see what we did at the shareholders meeting this last year.
Look at this guy. When you see him on camera, you'll see he's got a smile as big as the state of Iowa, where I'm from. And Brandon has contagious energy. That's why we now call him the Ted Lasso of Markel. And so we got some new gear for you, sir. All right, thank you. Look at that. Look at that guy.
I think the reason Ted Lasso is popular is not just because we feel good while we're watching it and it's like, oh,
That
man,
helps,
that's funny.
but yeah.
There's something deeper going on there, especially when you get into later seasons and we don't have to, that's its own podcast.
No
Maybe
spoiler alerts. No, don't do that.
But there's an intensity and a depth to that show that really showcase what we're talking about here, what it means to stand in the face of some of life's hardest moments and actually smile.
Yeah.
And to be able to have an energy that's not just devastated and totally in ruin. And I think Brandon's got a wonderful quote that he uses to anchor himself in that idea.
The other one is a quote from Albus Dumbledore.
For those who don't know, this would be Harry Potter reference.
Yeah, and he says something along the lines of, no matter how dark times can be, one can always turn on the light. No matter how dark things get, one can always turn on the light. And I think it's very important to be the one to turn on the light and help change the atmosphere and change the scene.
Matt, I'm not going to lie to you. Harry Potter was not on my bingo card for this episode, but it makes sense that we land. Brandon is positive, grounded, and creates some of the energy and culture on a team that continues to do great work. We heard from across the organization how important that is. And, so I think the style award that Brandon Ancarrow has gotten fits everything we've heard about who he is and how he thinks about the world. So I think we have nothing left to say, but thank you to Brandon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brandon.